Right now, how you can help a local nonprofit recovering from flood damage due to last night's storms.
And we're going to continue to see the chance of some showers and storms the next couple of days. I'll talk about just how much more we could see coming up.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4.
And we'll get started with the weather. The rain that's breaking the grip on our heat, but also causing some flooding in areas. Well, and we are also starting with new video of damage at the East Side Woodman's after the roof collapsed last night during that rain.
A viewer sent us this video, and we want to thank you very much for doing that. Currently, Woodman's is closed. This is the Woodman's on the east side, and it will remain so until further notice. The Madison Fire Department says accumulated stormwater caused the collapse, but luckily no one was hurt.
And that's not the only place that got hit with flooding from last night's storm.
Our LA La Liberté shows us what happened at a nonprofit just minutes away.
Camp Creatability is a place for kids, teens, and adults with autism to come and enjoy the fine arts. And the owner tells me it's a safe space for her clients. But last night, when the water came in, it just didn't stop. This is what the nonprofit looked like this morning. And with the water partly dried up, the mud shows just how far it traveled. Debbie Armstrong is the owner of the camp. She says there's been flooding before, but when she came in this morning, she knew this was worse.
I wanted to cry because this is our clients' safe space. It's the place they feel comfortable with. It's their home away from home, and so for a lot of them, we just disrupted their day today, and it's a lot of dysregulation for them, and just my heart's breaking for them.
Camp Creatability hopes to be back open and running in a temporary space by the end of the week. There's also a GoFundMe set up to help with the financial burden. Reporting on Madison's east side, LA La Liberté, News 3 Now.
Thank you. LA Armstrong says they do have insurance, but it doesn't cover flooding.
She estimates to get everything replaced, it will cost roughly $30,000 to $40,000. To donate, go to the GoFundMe.com and search Help Camp Creatability Rebuild.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Jacob Montesano is out on the weather patio. That was some heavy rain last night, Jacob, and more potentially on the way.
Yeah, we're going to see the next 2 days more rain and a few storms as well, likely going to impact the area. We've seen some of those showers and storms today, and we're still seeing some minor shower and thunderstorm activity. A lot of the area, though, not seeing anything right now. There are a few of those showers and storms just to the north of Madison, but a lot of those have been really fizzling out over the last couple of hours. A little bit more consistent rain for the western portion of our area and just to the west of that, but notice these storms are pretty isolated, only impacting a small portion of our area. But looking at the amount of rain we saw just yesterday, some areas saw up to 3 inches of rainfall. Less rain the further southeast you're located. Unfortunately, some of those areas need to see more rainfall, but those that did certainly saw plenty of it, and we're going to see more to come. So let's take a look at future track. We're going to continue to see a few of these isolated showers and storms throughout the evening. Not the entire area will see rainfall, but we'll see maybe a little bit more consistent rain once we get towards the overnight hours. And then into Wednesday, we'll see another round of that consistent rain kind of move in. But it looks like going forward, we're not going to see quite as much rain as we saw yesterday, so that's the good news. But the shower and thunderstorm chances are going to continue for Wednesday and Thursday. Now, temperatures, although they're not as hot, they're still fairly warm out here. Lower 80s to upper 70s, pretty common for this time of the year. And looking at that temperature change, some areas are around 10 to 15 degrees colder, a lot colder further closer to Lake Michigan. And those areas that had already seen those storms roll through this time yesterday are actually warmer than this time yesterday. So it is a very seasonable, conditions are very seasonable out here, which means they are fairly warm, and they're going to remain mild overnight with that cloud cover as lows will drop to near 70. So I'll continue tracking the thunderstorm chances over the next couple of days, and I'll have those details coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. You can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
Well, it's not a Facebook post you see very often. It says, "Who saved my daughter on the lake this week?" But it solidified the connection 2 families had made after a horrific boat crash in Milton.
As Armand Rahman found, the situation could have been a lot worse had one young man not acted the way he did.
A casual day of boating on Lake Koshkonong almost turned tragic if it wasn't for the quick thinking of one family.
All of a sudden we heard a loud crash and circled back.
That loud crash was another pontoon boat and a John boat that collided just off Dolman Boat Landing in Milton Tuesday evening. 6 people were on the pontoon boat and 3 were being helped aboard from the destroyed fishing boat. It was clear to the Hughes family someone needed to get in the water to help, so Eric did, and not a moment too soon.
Right now, getting an ambulance, her foot is off. We're not sure how she's doing.
A woman was trying to climb back onto the pontoon when the crash happened, her foot severely injured.
So once we found that out, then it got a little more serious, and then we were really kind of thinking what to do. And my brother ended up calling 911, and from there we kind of just reacted, and I ended up tying the thing on her leg, and yeah, I think that ended up saving her. It saved her a lot of blood loss.
Eric, without any proper training, made a tourniquet out of some rope and held it tight as they navigated back to the landing. The woman's family says she probably would have bled out if it wasn't for him. The accident remains under investigation. Reporting in Rock County, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. We reached out to the woman and her family for comment, and they say they are so grateful for everyone who helped. The woman is recovering right now, and the family did start a GoFundMe to help pay for bills as she'll be out of commission for a little while.
A win for environmentalists. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has ruled state regulators can force landowners to clean up emerging pollutants before they're officially designated as hazardous substances, and that includes PFAS, or forever chemicals. The 5-2 ruling is a defeat for the state's powerful group representing businesses and manufacturers. This ruling will have an impact on cities all across Wisconsin, including Madison, where people are grappling with PFAS contamination.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are reacting to the ruling. Governor Tony Evers released a statement reading in part, quote, "The Supreme Court's decision today means that polluters will not have free rein to discharge harmful contaminants like PFAS into our land, water, and air without reporting it or taking responsibility for helping clean up those contaminants." We also have a statement from Republican State Senator Eric Wimberger, who argues the state should now act to protect landowners. It reads in part, quote, "The court's ruling today underlies what I've been saying for years. Protections for innocent landowners are critical because the DNR can and does hold innocent landowners responsible regardless of a promulgated standard."
At the Capitol, the clock is quickly running out for lawmakers to pass the state budget, which they're supposed to have done by the end of the month.
Political reporter Will Keneally is at the Capitol and shares more on how this could impact you at home.
Yeah, the state budget is not just numbers here in the Capitol. This is crucial impact on your life, whether your child's schools get funded, whether childcare is affordable for your family, or whether you can save hundreds of dollars in your pocket when taxes come due. And if lawmakers delay passing this budget, that can throw things like money in your child's classroom up in the air. And we learned new this week that Governor Evers would be willing to veto the state budget if lawmakers do not invest enough money in childcare. Now, we posed those questions directly to lawmakers today about how they plan to make childcare more affordable and how they plan to work under a potential veto threat from the governor.
But look, I know we're going to make investments in trying to help make sure that parents have access to childcare. I know we are going to make a historic investment in special ed funding, and I know we're going to do some reforms at the university. Those are all things that we would love to do as part of a bigger deal. We just have to make sure it can get all the way through both chambers to Governor Evers so it can be signed into law.
If the Republicans who control the state legislature and the state's Democratic governor can't reach agreement on the budget, that could affect how much money goes into local schools and your child's classroom. School districts will have to start worrying by October if the budget gets delayed that long. And we'll have more at 5, helping demystify the process here and sharing how the state budget comes from the Capitol, directly impacting your life. Reporting from the state Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
We will see you at 5. Will, thank you. Next on Live at 4, it's been 3 years since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
What abortion looks like in Wisconsin today. We'll be right back.
Simply took it away. That's never been done to a right so important to so many Americans. It's a sad day for the court and for the country.
Today marks 3 years since the United States Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. We just saw then President Joe Biden speaking to the American people after the justices made the decision.
In its Dobbs decision, every member of the court's conservative majority ruled that abortion is not a constitutional right, including 3 justices President Trump appointed during his first term.
Since that decision, states across the nation have reverted back to their laws regarding abortion pre-Roe.
And that includes Wisconsin, where for several months abortion was restricted. Currently, the procedure is legal for Wisconsinites. In 2023, a Dane County judge ruled Wisconsin's 19th century abortion law bans killing fetuses, not medical consensual abortion. But the case didn't end there. The state Supreme Court is considering 2 cases, one on whether the state's 1849 abortion ban is valid, and the other on whether a constitutional right to abortion exists in Wisconsin.
As justices consider those cases, federal lawmakers are taking up abortion. This week, Senate Republicans could vote on the president's sweeping domestic policy bill. Democrats say the bill includes provisions that would prevent abortion access.
2 nasty provisions: to defund Planned Parenthood and eliminate coverage for comprehensive reproductive care from the ACA marketplace.
Republicans have not commented on the provisions, but the proposals aren't anything new. Just days after President Trump took office for the second time, he signed an executive order to end the use of federal tax dollars to fund or promote elective abortion.
Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin is part of a group introducing a bill to restore abortion access across the nation. A statement from Senator Baldwin reads in part, quote, in Wisconsin, we've seen how these attacks on women's reproductive rights and freedoms have hurt our neighbors, friends, and families, and we won't stand for it. The Women's Health Protection Act is a necessary step to restore Americans' constitutional right to choose what's best for their families.
Women who have complications during pregnancy are at a higher risk for stroke, even decades later. A study by UT Health Houston shows pregnancy functions as a sort of stress test for the body, and common pregnancy complications could be an early warning sign for cardiovascular disease. Up to 1/3 of all pregnancies are affected by complications.
President Trump is in the Netherlands this afternoon for a summit of 32 leaders of NATO tomorrow. As he headed to The Hague, the president told reporters he would commit to the mutual defense guarantee depending on your definition of that agreement. The guarantee says an armed attack on one member of NATO is an attack on all.
The National Transportation Safety Board held an hours-long public hearing into last year's terrifying mid-air incident involving Alaska Airlines. An earlier preliminary report showed 4 bolts were never replaced after the door plug was removed. But now NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy said the investigation into Flight 1282 found systemic failures led to the door plug flying off the Boeing 737 MAX.
So Boeing relied on a single point of failure, which was a human not filing or documenting a record. And that was a flaw in the system.
Spirit Aerosystems, the company that made and installed the door plug, is redesigning them with another backup system to keep the panels in place even if the bolts are missing. The FAA is not expected to certify that change until next year at the earliest.
Let's get a check on the weather now. The rain took down the heat a little bit, but it's still quite humid out there. And we're not done with the rain yet, right, Jacob?
Correct. We are going to see the next 2 days some possible showers and thunderstorms impact southern Wisconsin. So we'll continue to see a daily chance of rain through Thursday. Some minor severe weather as well, but it looks like the severe weather risk is pretty low. We're not going to see quite as much severe weather as we saw yesterday. And in general, we're going to see high temperatures in the 80s going forward with some higher humidity values. So it's still going to be fairly summer-like. Now, looking at the current radar, some of the showers and storms that have been impacting areas north north of Madison really fizzling out, still seeing some of those. And then we're also seeing some of those showers and storms impacting the far western portion of our area, but nothing is too significant right now. Now, looking at the severe weather risk the next couple of days, this is going to continue. This is today through tonight. We still have a marginal risk for Madison areas to the south and east. And then for Wednesday, much of the area under a marginal risk. And then that's the case for Thursday as well. We don't have any alert days in the forecast for these storms because this is very common for this time of the year, with the daily chances of thunderstorms usually brings a daily chance of some minor severe weather. Now, the most likely hazards will be strong winds and some flooding as well, considering just how much rain we saw yesterday. But I'll be very surprised if we do see any tornadic activity, but we still have just a very small risk of it. So as we take a look at the forecast going forward, again, we'll see some of those isolated showers and thunderstorms throughout the night. Nothing is expected to be too consistent, but we could see some pockets of heavier rainfall. This is going to continue through Wednesday morning and during the day on Wednesday. Again, just some on and off showers and storms. A little bit more consistent rain north of Madison as we get into the afternoon. And then once we get into the evening, we'll continue to see some of these isolated showers and thunderstorms with a little bit more consistent rain again for areas north of Madison once we get into the overnight hours Wednesday. And then for Thursday, again, a kind of similar situation where we're not going to see nonstop rain for everybody, although it does look like we'll start out dry on Thursday. We do have a good chance of those showers and thunderstorms returning to our area once we get into the evening, and it looks like this will be the best chance of severe weather going forward Thursday evening, as we'll see a line of those showers and thunderstorms move through. And then once they do clear out Thursday night, it looks like we are going to be fairly dry for the end of the week, Friday and Saturday. But still looking at the amount of rainfall going forward, we're still going to see possibly up to around 2 to 3 inches. Madison reported around 2.5 inches yesterday alone, so we're going to see about that much going forward. Obviously, it will be strung out over a longer period of time than what we saw yesterday, but still a lot of rainfall still expected going forward. But again, we are going to dry up for the end of the week with more rain chances on Sunday, but in general, temperatures aren't really going to change too much going forward. They'll drop a little bit for tomorrow, but in general, we're going to see a lot of 80s going forward.
Thank you, Jacob. Coming up on Live at 4, it's a combination you won't want to miss.
Josh Spreiter previews the Pups and Pride event this weekend when Live at 4 continues.
We're talking Pups and Pride.
It's an event a Madison bakery is getting ready to host this weekend. Josh Spreiter is on the north side of Madison with a preview.
June is Pride Month, and there's a local business doing everything they can to support all of the locals celebrating pride and happiness. We're talking about love, and that's what has us in our Pride wear today. Anne Marie and Aaron also joining us today. Thank you so much for having us out. Anne Marie, I want to start with you. You know, you guys have been here in the business for Bloom Bake Shop a long time. This North Street location is really, really special for you, though.
Yeah, it's special to be a part of this community and neighborhood, and to have a space where we can create community even more. I mean, we hope that when you walk through our doors on Monroe Street, you feel that every single time, that inclusivity, that acceptance. But this space, you get to expand, sit outside, sit inside. We have amazing neighbors in Cafe Domestique and Youngblood, where we're a collective space, watering you and feeding you, and creating love and joy.
And celebrating community, and that's really what Pups and Pride is all about. So what is this event really showcasing?
Oh my gosh, it's Pride Month, and it's about joy, it's about acceptance, and so we're doing that grand and big this Saturday with a lot of artists and organizations from our queer community, as well as our four-legged friends and those that support and love them too. It is going to be bright, colorful, full of food, joy, art, and love.
And Aaron, let's talk a little bit about the pups factor, because of course we love our furry friends too.
Yes, yeah, I think Anne Marie and I, we both have rescues and we love them so, so much. We'll be having our pup strut at 1 p.m. We will roll out our red carpet and have an esteemed panel of judges from the community with some really cool prizes and fun treats.
And, you know, treats for humans, but also treats for the pups, and you've got a couple of specialties.
We do. So Stellies will be here with their dog-safe ice cream, and then we'll be making our woofy pies and our bark balls, which are both cake and dog-safe frosting ingredients.
Oh my gosh, that sounds good. You know, why is it so important for you to host an event, especially during Pride Month?
Well, I think it's important because more than ever, we need to make sure that our friends know that Pride is about love, resiliency, it's about visibility, it's about radical joy and love and accepting everyone for who they are. So we want to create a space that invites everyone in to know they're loved and accepted and safe.
Well, for one, being in the LGBTQ community, I appreciate you guys for what you're doing. And this is what it's all about. It's about celebrating the community, and it's bringing people together.
I agree. And at Bloom, it is ingrained in our value systems, whether it's a team member, whether it's a purveyor, whether it's a customer. We want everyone to feel seen and for exactly who they are.
All right, so hit us with the times. Again, this is happening Saturday. What can people expect?
Yeah, so starting at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. here at North Street on the patio. We'll be having fun vendors. We'll have our pup strut at 1 p.m. where you and your dog can come and strut on our red carpet and be judged on certain categories, so in a fun way. And it'll be really cool with fun prizes that we'll have from everything, all of our community members, and yeah, just a lot of fun things happening.
Just think like Grammys, like red carpet style.
Oh my gosh, sign me up. This is going to be so good. Thank you so much for having us out. We appreciate it.
So much.
And if you'd like to learn more about Pups and Pride here on the patio at Bloom North Street, you can go to the story up on channel3000.com. In Madison, I'm Josh Brighter, News 3 Now.
Josh, thank you, ladies. Hope it's a great event.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun. Coming up on Live at 4, the fate of an undocumented immigrant linked to the arrest of a Milwaukee judge.
Plus, when a federal trial will happen after the former UW La Crosse chancellor sued the Board of Regents.
From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
A breaking news update this afternoon. The fourth person who was shot in last week's shooting in Janesville has died.
The Janesville police have just informed us of this update. Lieutenant Jennifer Seeger says yesterday morning the person who had life-threatening injuries from the Aspen Square Apartments shooting died at the hospital. This was on North Pontiac Drive. 3 other people died the day of the incident. That was June 17th. Police say the shooting was a murder-suicide and have identified 3 of the others who have died. The police have not yet released the name of this latest victim. We will get you that information after an autopsy is conducted.
And as soon as we have that information, you'll know it too. You can receive updates directly to your phone with the free Channel 3000 mobile app.
The other top story we've been following, our weather. We've had a lot of heat and rain over the last 24 hours. Jacob Montesano joins us from the patio outside. Jacob?
Thanks, Brady. Rain is expected to continue. At least the chance of rain will continue. We're likely not going to see the nonstop rain. In fact, it's not raining right now here in Madison, but we are seeing some areas see that rainfall right now, especially for places west of Madison. We are seeing some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing to impact portions, especially across Grant County. And this is going to be the story the next couple of days. Not everyone will see rain for the entire day, but rain will likely be impacting at least parts of our area at any given time. Now, we're not going to see quite as much rain as we saw yesterday, at least not in a single day, as we saw around 2 to 3 inches of rainfall for a lot of the area. Not quite as much further south, but some places have been dealing with some flooding concerns due to the amount of rainfall we saw yesterday. And with the rain that we're still expecting, we may see some additional flooding concerns. So throughout the evening, we'll see some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Looks like the best chance will actually be for areas south of Madison tonight. And as we get into Wednesday, we'll see more of those showers and storms move back into the area a little bit more on a consistent basis once we get to the afternoon tomorrow. And it looks like the best chance of rain tomorrow will be for areas north of Madison. Now, temperatures still warm, but certainly better compared to the last couple of days. We're in the lower 80s to upper 70s, but those dew points are still very high. Dew points in the lower 70s, which is causing some heat index values to still be near 90. So although it is cooler, technically, it still certainly is very warm out here, and warm temperatures will continue for the most part. Again, not as bad as it was the last couple of days, but what we're seeing today is going to kind of be the norm going forward. And you can see the overnight lows are going to be very mild tonight still, with lows only dropping to around 70. So I'll continue tracking the chance of those showers and thunderstorms coming up a bit later.
And we're keeping our fingers crossed for tomorrow night's concert on the square, the first of the season. We'll have to wait and see what the forecast looks like. Jacob, thank you. Former UW La Crosse Chancellor Joe Gao will have his day in court next summer. Gao has sued the UW Board of Regents for firing him last year. He says the board violated his First Amendment rights when members removed him from his role after learning that he produced and appeared in pornographic videos with his wife online. Gao filed a federal lawsuit in January. The jury trial is set for June 22nd. If Gao wins, he could be fully reinstated to his faculty position and potentially receive money. If he loses, it would set a precedent that could affect how universities handle similar cases.
The immigrant tied to the arrest of a Milwaukee County Circuit judge will plead guilty to being in the U.S. illegally. Records show Eduardo Flores Ruiz signed a plea agreement on June 20th. The offense carries a maximum prison sentence of 2 years and a fine of up to $250,000. As part of the plea deal, Flores Ruiz will be deported from the United States after he serves any time in prison. He is originally from Mexico.
ICE agents arrested Flores Ruiz in April after he showed up to the Milwaukee County Courthouse for a hearing in his misdemeanor domestic abuse case. After the hearing, Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly obstructed ICE from arresting him immediately. Video shows Judge Dugan speaking with federal agents while Flores Ruiz is in her courtroom, and they're then led through the hallway. The FBI arrested Dugan for obstruction. She's pleaded not guilty and is trying to dismiss those charges entirely. A scheduling conference in this case is set for July 9th.
The United States strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities over the weekend did not destroy the country's nuclear facilities like President Trump has claimed. In fact, U.S. intel says the strikes only set Iran's nuclear program back by months. The White House has acknowledged that assessment's existence but disagreed with it. This after President Trump claimed both Iran and Israel violated the ceasefire he announced over social media last night.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Now both sides are again saying they will not again break their truce. To Wall Street now, stocks rose on hopes Israel's war with Iran will not damage the global flow of crude. The Dow is up 507 points, the Nasdaq is up 282, and the S&P 500 is up 67 points.
Tonight, the Fitchburg City Council will vote on whether Monkey Shine's Bar and Grill can keep its liquor license. It comes after a series of crimes at the bar, including a stabbing in May. That left one man dead and another facing homicide charges. The city says it's been in communication with the bar and is looking for solutions. Tonight at 6:30, the meeting will begin and our Jalen Banks will report on it live.
Deaths from alcohol-related liver issues are rising. New information shows deaths from those issues have surged nearly 9% annually since 2018. That's more than double the previous rate in the U.S. Earlier today, News 3 Now spoke with an expert from UW Health about why this is happening.
We've been seeing rising rates of alcohol use disorder, which is sort of the prerequisite to alcohol-associated liver disease, basically for the last 20 years or so past 2 decades. But we've really seen a big rise since the pandemic and kind of leading up into the pandemic.
If you believe you are suffering from alcohol use disorder, you can get help at the National 988 Crisis Line.
Coming up on Live at 4, a new COVID variant hits the U.S.
How you can protect yourself when we're back.
The World Health Organization is monitoring a new COVID variant that is surging in China right now and has now arrived in the U.S.
Plus, a new small-scale study argues diet soda isn't the best alternative to regular pop. UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff is here for his weekly visit. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Potoff. Good to see you.
Yeah, same.
This COVID variant, a lot of people are reporting a very sore throat. I think it's called like razor blade sore throat.
Yeah.
That's the big symptom. What else can people watch out for?
Yeah, I think sore throat's always been a part of COVID infections. This one may have a worse sore throat. It may not, but I think, other things you'd have in addition to sore throat, you can have those fevers, you can have that nausea, that vomiting, that brain fog. Still, people remember like loss of taste and smell sometimes goes along with it too.
How contagious is it?
It's fairly contagious. So every new variant that kind of starts to take over is by definition a little bit more contagious than the last one, or it couldn't be the majority of cases. So it's pretty contagious. Like a lot of these COVID variants right now are extremely contagious. I think it's not so much that a lot of us are avoiding these, it's just the degree of symptoms that we're getting when we come in contact. It probably varies between person.
How worried should people be? I'm having flashbacks to 5 years ago. How worried should people be, and how does this stand up to the current vaccines and the tests that we have?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd say in general, worry is a little bit on the lower side. So what's good about all the variants that we've seen since November of 2021 is they're all sublineages of Omicron, which means our vaccines, our immunity has at least some protection against them. Doesn't mean you're not going to get it. Doesn't mean you might not get sick. You might get razor blade throat. But as far as like ending up in the hospital dying from it, less likely. Where I would get worried is if we had a variant that came out and the World Health Organization said, hey, wait a second, this is very different. It's not Omicron, and it looks to be really contagious and can cause severe disease. That's when we could be, in line for a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Is anyone testing for COVID anymore?
I mean, some people are testing. Certainly, emergency departments and things like that, we can test. Those home tests are still available. But I think a lot of people have kind of put COVID in the same bucket as like a cold, the flu, things like that, and they feel a little sick, and maybe they stay home, maybe they don't. But compared to years ago, like not anywhere close to that.
Yeah, and we're a little ways out from the fall season, but would you still recommend people talk with their doctors about getting that updated shot?
Yeah, for sure. Certainly high-risk populations, you'd want to get updated. Even those folks who maybe aren't necessarily high risk, but it's been a long time, not a bad idea to just refresh that immunity and make sure that you're not going to get real sick when you run into one of these things.
Okay, before we run out of time, another really interesting study that looked at diet soda. And there is no free lunch, it turns out, right?
Absolutely right. So they had people with diabetes that were trying to lose a little bit of weight and control their diabetes, and the people were randomized, a small study, 80 people, 40 into drink water, 40 into drink diet soda. The diet soda group lost 5 fewer pounds than those who drank water, and only 45% of that group was able to control their diabetes versus 90 in the water group. So even though it seems like you see that 0 on the Diet Coke and everything's good, it does some other things that work against you.
But listen, if I'm really good all week and I want a Diet Coke on a Saturday, and I still have one.
I mean, if you're not drinking and you're not smoking, maybe Diet Coke isn't the worst plug.
Sure, okay. But yeah, that is interesting, and water really is like the most basic good for you drink that you can have.
It totally is, and probably the cheapest too.
Yeah, that's true.
But what about diet soda versus regular soda?
Some people say pick your poison. So regular soda, lots of calories, lots of sugar, that is not good for you. Diet soda, no calories, but it kind of fools your brain, sometimes makes you eat more later.
Sure.
So ideally, artificial sweeteners and sugar and soda, if we can avoid both of those, that's the best.
All right. Well, there you go, everyone.
You can still have it on a Saturday. Go for
God.
it. You've worked hard.
No judgment.
Thank you,
Dr. Pano. Coming up on Live at 4, Jacob has the latest on the forecast.
And when and where to catch tonight's Brewers game. Well, here's a live look at Milwaukee, where the Brewers will play tonight. 73 degrees. It's cloudy there. I hope they have that roof ready to go.
Yeah, they'll probably need it closed tonight because the Brew Crew is looking to even the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates after losing the series opener yesterday. You can watch the game on Television Wisconsin. First pitch is set for 6:40 and coverage starts at 6:30. You can also watch on 605 on Charter and Channel 14 on DirecTV.
And for everyone watching the weather, here's another look at our first warn forecast with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Jacob?
Thanks, Brady. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to see daily chances of rainfall through Thursday, minor chance of severe weather during that time as well. And as far as the temperatures, we're going to continue to see highs in the 80s throughout the rest of the week, but the humidity values will be fairly high, so it's going to be fairly humid as well. Very summer-like for sure. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, we are going to be seeing some showers kind of continue throughout the night and for tomorrow, but for any given time, it's likely not going to be raining for the entire area, and those that do see the rainfall likely won't see rain for a long period of time, but we still could see some pockets of heavier rain. And we also do have a minor chance of severe weather. For tonight, marginal risk for Madison and areas to the south, but for Wednesday and Thursday, the entire area is under a marginal risk, at least most of the area. Far northern counties not quite in that risk, but that's for Wednesday. For Thursday, the entire area is under that marginal risk. Here, let me go back. As you can see, pretty much everyone has at least least a small chance to see that severe weather. The most likely hazards will be the strong winds and some of that flooding as well, considering just how much rain we saw yesterday. We've already seen some flooding concerns, and we're going to continue to see more rain going forward. Very low risk for hail, and the tornado risk does look to be even lower. I would be very surprised if we see any tornadic activity, as it's mostly going to be the strong winds and the flooding. Now, as we take a look at the rainfall forecast again for the evening and early overnight, we'll see some of those isolated showers and storms, especially for areas south of Madison. And then as we get towards the later overnight hours, we'll see a little bit more consistent rain kind of move back into the area. Nothing is expected to be too heavy tonight. And then once we get towards Wednesday afternoon, we'll see more consistent rain in central Wisconsin, pretty much areas north of Madison, but Madison and areas south could still see some of that rain during the afternoon, and that's going to continue for the evening as well. Once again, best chance of rain for the evening will be for areas north of Madison. Still going to see some of those showers and thunderstorms for places in far southern Wisconsin during that time as well. And then for Thursday, it looks like we may start out dry, but then we'll see a chance of those showers and storms returning for the afternoon, starting out north of Madison, but then drifting south for the evening Thursday. And this looks like it will be the best chance for the possible severe weather going forward. Thursday evening, we are expecting that line of those showers and thunderstorms moving through, continuing for the early overnight hours, but it looks like it will dry up once we get closer to Friday. And then Friday and Saturday, we finally will see a little bit of a break from the rainfall. Still might see something, but it's much less likely than today, tomorrow, or Thursday. And then for Sunday, we'll see the rain chances increase a bit. Then it looks dry for a good chunk of next week. Right now, we're calling for a chance of rain for 4th of July, but obviously a lot can change between now and then. But temperatures, not going to change too much, mostly seeing highs in the 80s.
Thank you, Jacob. Only 6 days left to vote for your favorite people, places, and things in the Best of Madison competition. Voting closes Monday, June 30th. The winners will be announced in Madison Magazine's October issue. Thanks to everyone who has voted so far. We'll be right back.
Earlier, Concerts on the Square hopefully returns tomorrow.
Fingers crossed,
Yeah.
because Live at 4 will be bringing you coverage right live from downtown. Come say hi to us. We'll bring you the history of the Concerts on the Square, live interviews with special guests, and stories of musicians right here on Live at 4. And we'll also have a crew out there all night to participate in the beloved Madison tradition.
The event, of course, is free, always has been. All you have to do is bring a blanket and enjoy the music. The concerts will be every Wednesday, weather permitting, for the next 6 weeks. Food vendors are available, and you can also reserve a table with catering. Mark your spot with a blanket. You can put your blanket down starting at 3 p.m. And if you're driving downtown, remember that the streets close around the Capitol Square at 5 and the concert begins at 7. Tomorrow's concert will feature Motown and R&B classics.
I have my Reba blanket ready to go.
No pressure, Jacob. We're all watching.
Tomorrow it looks like it'll be about 50-50. Looks like that time Thursday it'll probably be raining, but again, it's hard to say for sure, because it could be what it's like right now, where we're just seeing a few showers and storms surrounding Madison, but not actually raining in Madison. However, obviously the call will be made a little bit later, but for now, it's not looking too great, as the evening in general will be the best chance of rain both tomorrow and Thursday. We will be drier, I should say, for Friday and Saturday, not expecting much rain, but temperatures will be very consistently in the 80s.
The Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra will make the call at 3 and
Okay.
we'll let you know. Thanks, Jacob. We'll be right back. Tomorrow on Live at 4, weather permitting, we hope you'll join us for live coverage of Concerts on the Square. And straight ahead tonight at 5, Arman Rahman shows us how 2 families are coming together after a boat crash in Milton. Thanks for watching Live at 4, everybody. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. You can catch us 24/7 streaming on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.